Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. My day is going pretty epic. I don't want to harp on about it. I'm going to touch wood and just hope it continues this way. Today we are reacting to 3 European animals that would destroy the American ecosystem. And off the top of my bald head, I can think of possibly 2. One is an insect and one is a fish. You may already have them over there because I know we share quite similar ecosystems, don't we? It's very similar in some parts, not all parts, but some parts it's very similar. So I'm quite interested to see if there's any animals you can think of that would come over from Europe and destroy the American ecosystem. Please let me know down in the comments because I'm quite interested to see. I love these sort of videos. I absolutely love them. I was actually watching a video the other day where they were fishing in Florida and they were there for hours and they caught no native species. They caught things like peacock bass, clown knife fish, snakehead, and a few cichlids, like South American cichlids and stuff that aren't native at all, and it just shows the sort of damage they do. They didn't catch any bass or anything like that, which was quite crazy, to be honest. And I know you guys have got a problem there. You got the iguanas, Burmese pythons, hogs, monitor lizards, crocodiles, even those Asian grass carp, or Asian carp, sorry, and apparently crab now as well. There's a green crab that's causing mayhem. It's so crazy to think that something so small can cause so much damage. Before we get into today's video though, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, and if you're feeling extra frisky, you may as well give the video a like as well. I do have a Buy Me a Coffee and a Patreon page, link down in the description if you want to help support the channel, but as usual, please feel no obligation to do so. And without further ado, let's check out 3 European animals that would destroy the American ecosystem.
A few weeks ago, I made a video about American creatures that would cause major problems if they were introduced into Europe. In this video, I analysed both the North American and European ecosystems, and although both of these ecosystems share quite a few animals, both continents have quite a few unique predators. This is why some North American creatures are invasive.
Sorry to pause it, I just saw the raccoon. I was scrolling, there's a website here, it's very similar to Craigslist, it's called, or Craigslist, it's called Bazosh here in Slovakia. It's like you can buy all sorts on there, it's like a, what do they call? I don't know, you know, like an ads page. You can buy a raccoon. You can buy a raccoon as a pet. It's crazy.
In Europe,
I mean, I'd
some
like
European
one.
creatures are invasive in North America. In this video, I will be completely reversing my previous idea, as I will be looking at quite a few European creatures
got better hair than me.
Could cause major problems in North America. Without further ado, we can start looking at our first species, and to find it, we will be heading into some of Europe's fresh waters. The Wels catfish is one of the largest...
That's what I thought. I swear to you that's what I thought, because I know they can cause some major problem. I've actually fished for Wels catfish. I've caught quite a few, nothing monster size, and Garen, my son, one of the first fish he ever caught, I think his first ever fish was a Wels catfish. If I can find them, I'll pop some photos up, but that's one of the species I thought.
Freshwater fish in the world, and it's one of the most impressive freshwater predators in Europe. It has a mostly eel-like body with a giant head, and this large head comes in very handy when you're trying to swallow large foods. This catfish is only native to East and Southeastern Europe, but it has been introduced into many different waterways outside of its native range. Usually when it's introduced into a non-native ecosystem, it soon takes over, and it doesn't take them long to become established. They were introduced into the UK around 130 years ago, and originally only 70 of them were stocked into one lake. Today they can be found over large parts of England, and they're extremely popular with fishermen. They can measure up to 3 meters long and weigh over 200 kilograms, and a catfish of this size really shouldn't be messed with. Their popularity...
That makes mine look like minnows. I caught a few decent sized ones, nothing too big, and I was using, we were in a lake, I was using full squid as bait. My son caught one. He thought I was going to pull him in.
As a sport fish is one of the main reasons why they're introduced outside of their native range. And if they were introduced into North America, they would cause major problems. North America has quite a few native catfish species, with some of the largest being the blue catfish, the channel catfish, and the flathead catfish. All of these fish reach pretty impressive sizes, but they're still dwarfed by the Wels catfish. Many North American government websites already have warnings about this species, and there's very strict bans in place to make sure that they never enter North America. One of the scariest things about the Wels catfish is that it simply feeds on so many different animals. It of course feeds on a variety of freshwater fish, but it will also target birds, mammals and reptiles. One of these catfish died after choking on a red-eared slider in Germany, and this just goes to show they would target many of the native reptiles in North America if they were introduced. There are some stories where Wels catfish have become aggressive towards humans, but usually after the first bite they leave humans alone. Even though they have a giant head, they are unable to swallow a human whole, but human body parts have been found inside of Wels catfish. Even though these fish are not the best parents, the males will sometimes guard their young, and this gives them a better chance at survival. This means that they could easily spread in North American waters, but of course there would be one predator in their way. Certain birds of prey and predatory fish could target their young, but one of the few predators that could take out a fully grown Wels catfish is the American alligator. These crocodilians could stop them in some of the southern states, but most places further north would be doomed. Luckily, there's little to no chance that this fish will ever make it to North America, and for now the freshwater creatures of North America can sleep easy. The next European predator we will be taking a look at is the Eurasian lynx. This species is one of the most widely distributed cats in the world, as it's found over large parts of Eastern Europe and Central Asia. The Eurasian lynx is the third largest predator in Europe, as it's only smaller than the brown bear and the grey wolf. It is the largest of the 4 lynx species, and as it's got such a large distribution, there are many different subspecies. In the wild, these cats mostly feed on ungulates and rodents, but they don't do very well in more built-up areas. Even though the Eurasian lynx is very much a European species today, at one point in time it was almost pushed to extinction in Europe. Their population fell to around 700 in Europe between 1930 and 1950, and this was mostly due down to habitat loss and hunting. Their habitats were cut down to create more farmland, and the farmers would also shoot them as they feared that their livestock were in danger. Today their numbers are a lot healthier in Europe, and there are thought to be around 9,000 to 10,000 in Europe alone. I believe that if these cats were introduced into North America, they could cause major problems, and this is despite having a lot of competition. They'd have to compete with bears, coyotes and wolves, but they already compete with some of these creatures across their native range. One thing that the Eurasian lynx would have to look out for in North America is North America's native lynx species. The bobcat and the Canadian lynx both inhabit North America, but as I've already covered, these two species are smaller than the Eurasian lynx.
They look so cute.
The two native lynx species mostly feed on rodents, rabbits and hares, with the snowshoe hare making up around 35 to 97% of the Canada lynx's diet. The Eurasian lynx would of course compete for these foods, but they can also target much larger prey. They could easily take down some of North America's deer species, and there are also some other mammals that they can target that aren't found in their native range.
I've got a question about raccoons. Are they really as bad as you guys make out to be? I've not spoken to many people who like raccoons. They pull the bins over and all sorts of things. I think they look so cute, like little bandits, aren't they? Like with their mask on, coming to cause problems. I'll tell you what I wouldn't want to mess with is a skunk. I've got such a horrible gag reflex to smells and things. When my dog was ill the other day, I must have blown chunks about 10 times, sorry, but just cleaning up after him, it was so gross. So a skunk would probably put me out of action. I think it'll put a lot of people out of action, to be honest. Oh, by the way, merch. First link in description.
And there are also some other mammals that they can target that aren't found in their native range. I don't think the Eurasian lynx would completely take over, as there are larger predators that would keep their numbers in check, and they'd also struggle in more built up areas. One of the Eurasian lynx's biggest problems would come in the form of the mountain lion, but this species is not found across all of North America. Because of this, I still think that they could take over large parts of North America, and even though North America has 2 native lynx species, the Eurasian lynx is larger and meaner. The final European species we will be taking a look at is the Dalmatian pelican. This bird is the largest member of the pelican family, and it's perhaps the world's largest freshwater bird. It's only rivaled in weight and length by the largest swan species, and it has wingspans that rival those of the great albatrosses. It can weigh up to 15 kilograms, and it can have a wingspan of up to 3.5 meters.
15 kilos!
The species has a large distribution across Europe and Asia, and it prefers to hunt in large bodies of water. The majority of their diet is made up of fish, and as they are a very large bird, they can target very large fish. They're known to go after carp, perch and pike, and they'll even go after the aforementioned Wels catfish. They have very few natural predators in the wild, and they're only really tackled by canines and large cats. This means that if they were introduced into North America, they would have very similar predators, but in most cases they would be able to avoid them. North America already has two native pelican species, the American white pelican and the brown pelican. The American white pelican is mostly found in freshwaters, whereas the brown pelican is mostly found along the coasts. The Dalmatian pelican can target both of these ecosystems, and as they are so much larger, they can easily outcompete the native pelicans. Their size also means that they can target larger fish than the native pelicans, and there's very little that the native species could do about it. Even though it seems like it would be a very one-way battle, in some parts of Europe the Dalmatian pelican is suffering. As they are such large birds, they need large bodies of water to feed in, and a lot of their wetland habitats are being destroyed. As well as this, they are hunted in some parts of Asia such as Mongolia, and this has massive negative effects on their numbers. If these giant birds were introduced into North America, they would only thrive in areas with large wetlands, but luckily North America has quite a few of them. There's little to no chance that this pelican would ever make it to North America, but if it did, it would become the new king of the wetlands. If you think there are other European creatures that could have made it on this list, then let me know down in the comments below. But thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If you liked...
Yeah, I don't know. The pelican might not be so bad for those Asian carp, eh? That's exactly the kind of thinking that causes those problems though, doesn't it? They bring something in to get rid of something. I think the Asian carp were brought in to manage algae, possibly. Or were they escaped from food markets? I can't remember. But that's the kind of thinking that causes the problems. Just leave nature to do its own thing, I think. Don't start bringing stuff willy-nilly everywhere. But yeah, I don't know. The catfish, I was right about that one. They are freaky things and they get really, really big. I've seen some big ones. I've only ever caught not really big ones. Nothing to really brag about. I shouldn't probably even have mentioned it. After you've seen the size of some of them, you'll be like, what are you even telling us for, mate? That's pointless. But yeah, they're an awesome fish to catch. I'm more into predatory kind of fishing. Carp fishing just doesn't do it for me. So those were the ones we caught were actually in carp lakes. So it was pretty fun, to be honest. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.